Hey there, Alex here. This is the T1XS, a slightly newer and slightly more expensive model compared to the T1X that I reviewed just over a month ago. Since those are already pretty great, I was very interested to try the T1XS, which is said to be even better. Starting from the outside, you can already tell how much smaller the case is for the T1XS. Unlike the slightly chunky T1X, this is something that I can carry around with me in my pocket, so this is already a huge upgrade for me. It is still using USB-C, which is convenient for charging, and it has the same feature that starts the pairing process once the lid opens, which reduces the time needed to connect them to my phone. The earbuds are similar in size and shape as the T1X, so the fit is pretty much the same. It's really secure for jogging and comes with replaceable earphones. They are IPX5 rated for dust and water resistance, so they are quite suitable for sports. But I do find that the tighter fit results in a bit more thumping sound from my footsteps while jogging. On the bright side, the tighter fit does provide better passive noise isolation. In terms of controls, it is responsive, and I'm able to control almost everything including the volume. It might seem a little confusing at first, but it's actually pretty straightforward. You just have to remember that the left side is for volume and the right side is for changing tracks. It's using the same companion app as the T1X, and it's a little bit annoying that it requires phone and storage permissions. But I noticed that they no longer require location permission, which is definitely an improvement. I do recommend installing the app because it comes with some nice extra features. I'll just leave the screenshots for the app here so you guys can pause the video if you want to know all the available settings. Most of them are pretty self-explanatory. For me, the highlights here are the ability to see how many charges the case can provide, the ability to turn on full touch controls, the 3 levels of low latency mode, and the ability to turn off wearing detection so that the music doesn't pause when I take out just one side of the earbuds. It is worth mentioning as well that we now have user customizable EQ settings. However, it's not the easiest to use because it overrides the default tuning instead of building upon it. So it's probably still easier to make adjustments using your own music player. In terms of connectivity, it has been really solid for me, and it supports AAC codec. As mentioned earlier, it has a low latency mode as well, and like the low latency mode on other TWS earbuds, there will still be some latency while gaming, just at a more usable level. Call quality is good when it's not too noisy, but it can struggle a little in noisier environments. For battery life, at the volume that I'm using, which is around 65 to 70%, I'm getting around 5.5 hours of use per charge, with the case providing around 2.5 extra charges. It has the same fast charging feature as well that provides close to 2 hours of playback with a 10 minutes charge. Overall playback time does seem a tiny bit shorter than the T1X, but the difference is actually surprisingly small considering the case is much smaller. When it comes to sound quality, the T1XS has a rich and relatively balanced sound with more prominent bass, much like the T1X. But in this case, I find that the bass actually sounds a little tighter and better controlled, making it sound a little cleaner even in busier tracks. Mids are still outstanding and sounds forward in the mix. It's probably really subtle, but I feel like there is a bit more elevation in the upper mids here, which I actually prefer. Treble is well extended as well, giving brighter instruments the energy that they need to sound more lifelike, and they don't sound harsh or sibilant. Detail retrieval and imaging are pretty good as well. Even though the T1X still has a slightly wider soundstage, the more controlled and slightly cleaner sounding T1XS gets my vote here. Overall, I think it's a small but nice improvement over the already great sounding T1X. So yeah, these are pretty great. The smaller charging case makes it a little easier to carry around, and the slightly nicer sound is like the cherry on top. If you're on a really tight budget, the T1X is still a great option. But if you have the cash to spare, the T1XS is worth the slightly higher price. Thanks for watching this video, and see you guys on the next one.